Okay, in today's lesson, we're going to be learning how to use Suno to generate some pretty incredible music. Suno version 5 is current. Suno Studio is in existence. We can do so much with AI music creation now. It's phenomenal. This is not subpar music. This is amazing music. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples here before we kick things off. Some of the songs I've been working on, you get a feel for what you can actually expect from AI music before we get rolling on this course. I'll just play a quick little sample. First one's we got kind of like a Viking inspired, you know, battle song, as it were. All right, I won't play for too long because we'll just kind of go quickly through that. Here I got one that's kind of inspired by the Old West.
When the clock strikes noon in a one-horse town.
All right, moving right along into, let's see, some kind of, what would it be? It would be kind of like popular dance music. Popular dance music. Here we go. Okay, and let's check out one more. What we got here? This one was kind of fun. We're gonna check out one more, and then we're actually gonna get into it. I just want to give you a feeler, you know, before we get too far into this course. I want to give you a feel for just how good AI music can be.
Wakanda, 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 Wakanda.
Okay, let's now start learning. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I just wanted to let you know before we dive into this, you're going to be able to create some absolutely amazing stuff. So this is Suno, the best AI music generation platform on the planet. I don't think that's an exaggeration. I'm quite sure it literally is. Okay, so it's also incredibly affordable. I think you can get started for free and try some stuff out, just have some fun. But then when you're ready to upgrade, if you're ready to upgrade, I've got, well, $8 a month, $24 a month, 10,000 credits, 25,000 credits, up to 500 songs, up to 2,000 songs, 2,000 songs for 24 bucks a month. That's great. I mean, you can't argue with that. That's incredible. You can create so much music for an incredibly low amount of expenditure. So this is the main area that you're probably going to be creating from. Now, there are some cool new features we're going to dive into, like AI Studio, Suno AI Studio. But we're going to start out with this. So what you got over here are a bunch of options. You got your lyrics, you got your styles, you got some advanced options down here, and then you got some sliders, you got your song title. Let's call this a demo song. What kind of song do we want to make for our demo song? What kind of song? Maybe rock and roll? Let's go rock and roll. But let's give it I like this, let's give it a cowboy western vibe. And that's the thing. Here's the thing. As of Suno version 5, you can get really specific and human-like with your request. It used to be that you would ask for something like, oh, rock and roll, techno, country music, and you can, kind of create some styles. But with Suno 5, you can actually say, okay, this is what it's meant to feel like. This is what it's meant to sound like, right? Maybe let's give it a country western vibe that transitions into something crazy, right? Like in transitions into opera, right? You can do that. You can do all sorts of interesting combinations. For lyrics, let's start without lyrics, and then we'll get into the lyrics next. I'm just going to click on Create to get things rolling. Every time you click on Create, you get 2 songs. You get 2 rolls every time you click on Create. That's just how it works. Don't know why. But what will happen is you'll notice that you'll get a little pink icon start to appear right away. That means you can test it out. You can play the song even though it's not entirely generated yet. And some features will not appear until it's entirely generated. But for now, you can preview it. So let's have a little preview. That's definitely rock and roll with a bit of country vibe. Do we get to the opera part? Let's see. That one did not really pick up the transitions into opera. That's okay. We could make that so if we really wanted to. Let's check out this next one here briefly. You know, I feel like we're getting into a bit too much of a Western song. Let's give it a gunslinger showdown vibe. I think we got a little bit too country Western. What I've also noticed is what you put first and what you put second, the order in which you request things can sometimes be important in regarding what sort of weights Suno applies to the way it generates music. Let's say rock and roll meets a gunslinger showdown that transitions into unexpected opera. Let's do something like that. See what we get. Additionally, what we got down here are a bunch of options. If you've got vocals, which we don't yet, you can choose if you want male, female, or random. Weirdness kind of determines how crazy the song results are going to be. As you can see, when you get this far, it turns red, and you're going to start getting some weird sounds when you get that far into what they call chaos mode. So typically I'll stay within that white area to keep the song kind of coherent. Style influence basically tells the song how much does it want to pay attention to that style prompt. If we want to be really adherent, well, we're going to dial that up. Now this is more applicable when we're mixing and matching sounds with, style prompts and other things like that, how much we want it to pay attention to that. Let's have a little listen to our next version here. I was definitely getting Gunslinger Showdown vibes for that one. That one I thought came out pretty cool. Okay, so let's assume we want to write some lyrics, right? So let's say, I don't know, Billy the Kid. Let's go Billy the Kid. I'm just going to put in that much and give it that much to work with. And what you'll see, what you'll generally notice happen is if you just give it a little bit of lyrics, it'll sometimes take that little bit of lyrics and try to work it into the song multiple times in multiple ways, kind of maybe repeating it over and over. You might do Billy the Kid was a gunslinger in the Old West, right? You also may note that I'm putting little double dots here, right? Little double dots typically tell Suno to pause a little bit. So instead of being like Billy the Kid was a gunslinger in the Old West, it would be like Billy the Kid was a gunslinger in the Old West, right? So it's kind of telling it to pause. You can exaggerate that effect even further by dropping down a line and adding a couple other little dots. If you want to just have some blank space in your sort of lyrical composition, what you can do is add a bunch of dots like that. We'll keep going with that. Let's see what we got here for our demo song.
Billy the Kid.
Okay, that was pretty exciting. Now, you may have noticed me typing a little bit as we were listening to that song. What I've done here is I've done a little bit of specification, kind of action-based specification. So what I've done is I've used square brackets here above this first part to indicate that I want this to be spoken word, right? Like, for example, kind of a narration vibe to it, right? I've also used a command called build up, just with a little bit of blank space, so that's sort of designated as instrumental because there's no lyrics in there. And then you can designate, for example, like this is, you know, your first verse, verse 1, verse 2, that sort of thing. You can do things like chorus, you can do things like pre-chorus, you can do things like break, which will kind of take whatever's going on in your song right now. Maybe it's kind of like a rock and roll part with a lot of energy and you just want to chill it out a little bit. That'll kind of break what's going on and give it a little bit of instrumental breathing room. Interlude, outro. Those are kind of the main ones that I usually play around with. There might be more, but I'm not exactly sure all of them. That's kind of all I tend to typically use, if I use them at all. Oh, and also I also sometimes use drop. Drop typically takes what's going on in your song right now and drops it out, right? Drops it out for like maybe a bit of an interlude or a build up or something like that, right? Drop can also sometimes be similar to chorus, depending on, I guess, on the song that you're working on. Drop and chorus can kind of interchange a little bit. So let's do a little example here. Let me take out all of those text examples. Let's go build up. Billy, let's say just go like this. Billy, 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 Billy. Right? Billy, 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 Billy. Right? So now it should start using this part, Billy, 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 right? And kind of like creating a build up in this particular part of the song. Now, we're not going to go too far into this. You kind of have like a rough idea of some of the things you can use. It's just kind of like standard musical songwriting things. And the way you specify is with the little square brackets. Sometimes also you can do things like little round brackets, Billy the Kid, and then like this, Billy the Kid. That might be represented as a sort of backing vocal. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, right? So you might say backing vocal, Billy the Kid. That may or may not work. It is a little bit random with Suno, but it's kind of intended that if you use brackets, you can say, okay, gunfire sound effect, right? So it'll maybe try to do that sometimes, right? Like that's kind of the idea, but I find this is very hit and miss. But it is a thing that kind of works sometimes.
Billy the Kid was a gunslinger in the Old West.
Okay, so you probably heard that as we went. Spoken word part kind of sounded like spoken word. The build up was, Billy, 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 right? The build up part. And that's basically, a nutshell on song composition. I'll leave you to kind of play around with the rest. That's kind of the rough guide map. But you can also switch over to this write song mode. So if you want to get a little bit of help writing songs, let's say write a song about Billy the Kid. Let's stick to our format, our example format here of Billy the Kid. And you just click right, or whatever I clicked, I forget now. The button. You click the button, and it'll give you a couple versions of which one you want to use. You click select to use it, and then it's actually got it pre-formatted with all the different things I was talking about before, and you can actually learn on song composition just from this, right? So verse, chorus, verse 2, pre-chorus, chorus, etc. Right? So you can learn a little on song composition if you want to have full control. And by the way, if you want to see the whole chat window, click that little button. Obedy, openy, closey, right? Let's go a little bit different. Gunslinger Showdown. that meets opera. Let's do something a little interesting, just to keep it interesting for the sake of this lesson, right? Gunslinger Showdown meets opera. A little song about Billy the Kid. Now, I did not specify vocal gender, male or female. Okay, yeah, this is actually brand new. I'm just actually learning what this is. Suno writes new lyrics for every generation. Sings lyrics in the lyric box. Oh, that's so great. I was actually wishing that they did something like that. So now they've got an automatic lyric generation feature, apparently, which is super cool. Yeah, so the lyrics are now disabled, and now we're in automatic lyric generation mode. So you can basically just click, okay, and then you right down here, describe what you want. So like that's, I don't know, unicorn song, right? So it'll come up with a different song about a unicorn every single time without needing to do that lyric selection that I just showed you. This is brand new. This is just like a couple days old. I just noticed this appear, and I'm just checking it out now, and that's really cool that they've added that. So let's first, okay, so I'm going to generate the auto mode. I'm also going to, let's listen to the ballad of Billy the Kid here. Here we go.
By a horse's tread, Billy rode where angels fear to tread. A pistol's bar, a fleeting shadow.
Anyway, I like that. Oh, that's really good. But you could hear that, right? You could hear the Gunslinger Showdown vibes that meet the opera, exactly what we asked for, what we got. And then we've got some of these randomly written songs each time. Like I say, this is with the prompt to Gunslinger Showdown meets opera, and then it'll generate up an entirely different song with lyrics and everything. Oh yeah, this was actually about our unicorn. I don't know. I just, top of my head, unicorn popped in. Okay, so now let's assume that you kind of have a rough idea for how to generate songs. With you know, the song creator system over here. What we can also do is now exercise even more control over our songs. So let's kind of dive into that. Let's maybe use our, what is this one? Whatever this one is. Let's use this one as our example. No, I take it back. Let's use the one that I kind of liked as our example. Here we go. So what I'm actually going to show you in this is how to take a song that, say for example, you really like the start of, but then it changes and you're like, oh, I don't like that anymore. What do? How do you have some creative control? Okay, let me show you. let's just pretend that whatever comes next after this 27-second mark, let's pretend we don't like it. I think I did, but let's pretend we don't. Let's say we want to have some more creative input on this song. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drag and drop this into the remix section over here, and I'm going to switch this over to extend mode. Additionally, you can click the little thing right here, and you can go remix, extend, and that'll automatically put it up here into your little section, and that's just another way to do it. But what you're going to do now is you're going to actually find the exact second that you want the song to be different from. So in this case, let's say I liked everything up to that 27-second mark, but after that, let's pretend I didn't like it. I do, but let's pretend I didn't. I'm going to change this to 27 seconds. So we're going to extend from that 27-second mark, and as you can see, the little slider adjusts to and just to visually show where we're extending from. All right, let's change that back to 27. Okay. And let's say that at this part, I want something entirely different. Let's do something crazy. Let's transform this into a K-pop song. high energy K-pop song. I don't know. Just because I want to show you what you can do with Suno. So I'm going to click on Create here. Or you could do other things, right? Let's say you want to change the lyrics. Let's say you want to change the style around a little bit. Let's say you want to, just do something a little different. Say you have something different in mind. You love the start. Maybe you love the middle of the song. You don't love what happened after that. And you want to take that bass song and just iterate on it and create something more like what you hear in your head, right? This is what the extend is really great for, right? So you can get that bass idea. It's like, oh, it starts great, awesome, cool. But you know what? It messed up. I really didn't like what it did. But what we're going to start doing is we're going to start iterating based on what we did like, and then we're going to add on more of what we like. For example. Oh, that's a lot of energy. Is that too much energy for this tutorial? I think you guys are nodding your head yes. That's okay, but that's okay. So this was one idea that came up. Now I'm still saved at this 27-second mark. Let's say I don't like that K-pop. Let's say I want to do some heavy metal instead, right? Maybe heavy metal is going to sound more appropriate than bouncy K-pop on the start of that song. So I can just do another little extend, and as I know, I like it up to that 27-second mark, right? So if I click play here, I get a little reminder of what it sounds like. Okay, and that's the point now where we are going to do our extend. So that's kind of what we had, and here's our extend. Okay, let's say I like this one, this kind of metal riff. Well, actually, we're going to have to actually give that a minute to generate completely. But the thing is, extend will perfectly align the point from which you're extending from to the song that you're extending to. It's going to be seamless. You're not going to hear any jumps or cuts or weirdness. It's just going to like flow perfectly most of the time and nearly perfectly all the time, or something like that, right? So you can generate up a bunch of different variations, maybe like soft metal. I don't know, soft metal. Is such a thing? I don't know. Is there such a thing? Soft metal, or like whatever you want to do here to continue the song forward. Really, I'm just kind of talking right now as I wait for this to completely generate. Because here's the thing: in order to use this song further, let's say we like this second part, and as you may notice right here, it says part 2. Right? And as you keep going, it'll say part 3, part 4, part 5, and so on and so forth. But again, you can't actually use this until it's fully generated. That little spinny icon means the song's partially generated, but not fully generated. So what we can do here is, let's actually listen back a little bit to see what we like in this. Okay, let's pretend now that I like this next part up until that 12 seconds, and then maybe it's doing like some more metal, but I want it to do something entirely different. I'm going to continue to wait patiently for that little icon to spin and be like, hey, come on, I'm trying to film a tutorial here. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually grab this song now, and I'm going to say remix, remix, extend, where is it? Yeah, extend. And that will load that into our song that we're extending from. And I think we liked it from that 13-second mark. I'm going to back that up to the 12-second mark. It doesn't have to be precise, but what I sometimes find is that if you don't get it to do what you want, sometimes adjust it back a second or two or three or forward and kind of change your starting point a little bit. It will fill in what needs to be filled in a logical way most of the time to make it make sense musically. But let's say instead of keeping that metal forever, let's say I want to have some sad violin, right? Some sad violin in that, and maybe I want to do like a sad violin solo, right? So I'm going to actually write that in brackets so that it really emphasizes that I want a sad violin solo as I extend this into its third part from that 12-second mark. Let's see how that sounds, all right? Give that a chance to generate. And yeah, like I say, you can click preview really quickly, but the entire song takes a little bit longer to fully generate. This is great because you don't have to wait for the whole thing to generate. You can just kind of click and generally get a nice little preview and test the next one, just kind of iterate until you find what you like. All right, so here's our sad violin edition. Okay, so that's our side violin. As you can hear, it very, uh, it did a very good job of transitioning on, like, kind of like on the spot to that sad violin that we asked for. It had absolutely no trouble to do that. This is a version, 5 upgrade scenario. Like version 4.5 did this. Version 5 does it really well. Like really pays close attention. So there we go. We've got our completed song. And as you can see, what we've got is part 3 here. And let's say now I'm totally happy with this. What I can do is I can click on that Get Full Song. And now it's going to combine all of our parts together. And incidentally, if you want to get full song at any point and then drag the full song into your thing and just extend that from a certain point, you can do that too. I was just kind of extending from the most recent part. That's also a thing. So now let's hear how it all comes together. Remember, we've got like 3 different styles of music all being combined, and they should sound totally seamless. Here we go. There we go. So 3 interesting genres of music beautifully blended together to create something quite unique, a lovely Franken song. Okay, now let's explore some of the other super cool things we can do with Suno. Okay, so let's assume you want even more input, even more control. Let's take our Ballad of Billy the Kid, which is our Gunslinger Showdown meets Opera Sad Violin, etc. And let's click the little icon here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Get Stems /MIDI, click that, and I'm going to extract all the detected stems. This is phenomenal. This is a brand new feature of Suno as of like a few weeks ago. What this is going to do is it's actually going to look at the song and it's going to say, okay, this is the drums, this is the vocals, this is the violin, this is the metal guitar. It's going to take all of those separate things, separate instruments, separate tracks, and it's going to separate them into their own individual track. This is really, really cool because what this basically allows us to do is have full editing authority over the track itself. So there we go. We've got our lead vocals, backing vocals, drums, bass, and guitar. So in this particular, oh, there's actually even more percussion and other. Okay, so let's head on over. Okay, and let's actually just give you a little preview here. So for example, if I was to solo this one here and then just click on that section, and let's see, where's the play button? There we go. Right? So basically there's our individual tracks, and we can actually now, export each one. If we wanted to take these into our own custom music editor like Ableton or something, we could do that now, export each one of those independently, or we could carry on with Suno's version of something like Ableton. Not, as, feature rich as Ableton, but what Ableton, or something, your regular DAW doesn't have is AI, generation of all the different tracks and layers and things like that. So here we are in Suno Studio, and we've got all our tracks. Right here is the option to solo a track to see what that sounds like on its own. We can adjust the volume. We can grab the track and we can say, okay, I don't want, that part of the track, or I don't want necessarily any other track. Just go ahead and delete that. And you can kind of just edit things as you would in a regular sort of music editing software. Additionally, you can right-click down, where is it? Right-click down somewhere and add a traditional, there it is, right down here, add track. So you can go ahead and add like your own track to the composition, and you can do things like generate an additional piece of music to your song. So up here we've got the full song. This is presently muted, but this is the full combined song all together, and then here are each of the individual parts on their own. So let's say I wanted to do something like, oh, I don't know, let's take this, let's add a spoken word intro or something like that. So I could select this part here, and I could go to styles, or rather, no, sorry, not styles. I go to song, and I'm going to change this to vocals, which is, there we go, vocals. And then in the lyrics section, I'm going to say spoken word, once upon a time. Once upon a time, Billy the Kid, unicorn, I don't know, song. All right, click done there. And we can give this a style as well. So let's go something like deep and spooky. Let's do a deep and spooky type of narrative tone. Click on create. And I'm going to actually just expand this little section right here. And this has now begun the creation for that particular section that's going to match into the rest of the song. So here's the really cool thing about Suno Studio. It's looking at all the tracks you've got, and it's saying, okay, you want to do a vocal, overtone, like spoken word or whatever we've done here, that's deep and spooky, and you want it to work within this song. Okay, we're going to generate for you something that's going to work within this song for that particular point of the song, which is amazing. Let me start by muting that, and let's just remember what our song sounded like, so we can kind of like pick up the vibe of it, right? Okay, that's what our song sounded like. Now let's add in the vocal spoken word part that we just added.
Once upon a time. Billy the Kid.
I'll be the first to admit that the lyrics I wrote were not great, but you get the idea, I think, right? And the other thing is that we get, again, 2 variations for each one. So let's see, we got this other variation.
Once upon a time.
And this variation here.
Once upon a time. Billy the Kid. Unicorn.
Okay, so let's say the second version sounds better. I can just drag and drop that into place and replace that with our second version. Now, you can continue to do that as many times as you want. Generate, generate, generate. Get as many versions as you want. Try out different stuff. Mix and match. And yeah, just kind of go nuts and do what you want to do. You can, of course, edit an existing part. You can select an entire, say, drum track, right? And you can say, okay, let's go ahead and change the percussion type to rock and roll drums. And it'll now look at this entire section of, the existing part of the song, and we can actually go and we can replace that into, say we like everything about the song, but we don't like the style of drums or something like that. We can go and replace that, continue to generate, try out different variations, do all that sort of thing. So basically, you can generate new parts for your song that fit and match your song within, specific locations of the song, entire tracks. You can add new tracks. You can, delete tracks. You can shorten tracks. You can do whatever you want to do. By the way, hold down Control and mouse scroll up to zoom in. Hold down Control and mouse zoom back to zoom out. Hold down Shift and mouse zoom to pan left and right on your timeline. Additional settings: transpose, speed, tempo on beat, a bunch of stuff to play around with. Here, I haven't played around with this too much because I generally let the AI figure out what works for my song, and then I just kind of generate and figure out what that is. But when you are finally done and happy with what you've got, you can go ahead and export that and export the full song to your regular Suno creation area, and just kind of, well, then you got your song. Okay, so that's a glance at Suno Studio. There's probably more to talk about, but we're going to call that for now, because I want to also show you some other cool features that you can do. For example, let's take our Ballad of Billy the Kid and drag that back into our remix section over here. And before we use the extend option, but that's not all you got. You can also do things like a cover, right? So you can basically take this bass song that you've got, and you can say, okay, let's redo this song as what's something dramatic. Maybe like a classical piano, right? Let's cover this song as piano. Let's cover this song in a classical piano feel or musical style, right? So you can take what you've got, and it's going to keep a lot of the basic beats, right? The lyrics it's going to keep the melody, but it's going to make some adjustments. So now this is a classical piano cover. So I'll briefly play for you the beginning of what we got here, and then we'll see the classical piano version of it. Okay, so there's our bass version. Now let's get classical. Now, you would probably have to get more familiar with what the whole song sounds like to make that be like, okay, yep, that's the same song. But I can pretty much guarantee you that that's the same song, but done as a classical piano. Additionally, if you have a song like our classical piano, which I think did or did not actually end up generating the lyrics, because we didn't actually write in the lyrics, so it may not have actually reproduced those lyrics in that cover version. Did we even have lyrics? I think we did. I can't exactly remember. But there's also an interesting feature where you can take something like your musical, right, and then add vocals to it, right? So you can take your piano song and say, let's go over to the automatic vocal writing feature, which is somewhere. Where is it? I saw it a minute ago. We were talking about it. I don't know. It's gone. It's gone. Does it not exist with that mixing thing? Lyrics mode. Oh, there they go with the lyrics mode. And then we've got the classical piano, Billy the Kid. Remix that. Lyrics mode. Okay, there we go. So auto. And then we'll go, yeah, Billy the Kid. Or whatever. Billy the Kid. And then classical piano. And we're just adding Billy the Kid lyrics to our now classical piano version of this song. So, creating covers in different musical styles, adding vocals to a track which does not have vocals, but maybe you like the melody, maybe you like, all of that and you want to add some stuff to it. Add instrumental. Oh, use style and lyrics. This is kind of a handy thing if you've got like a song that you've already like. You can just click on remix and use style and lyrics. And that will, well, basically do exactly what it says. It'll copy and paste the style and the lyrics of a song that you've liked into your song creation, so you don't have to like type all that out again. Just a handy little shortcut. All right, let's listen to our Billy the Kid with lyrics.
Out in the dust where the shadows play, a boy became a ghost one day. Quick on the draw, quicker to run. They whispered his name in fear at night. Billy the Kid gone out of sight.
Okay, there's our vocals. Now, all of this sort of vocals has reminded me that we've got this feature over here for audio, where you can upload an existing audio. Maybe you're working on a song of your own and you want to use that as a style reference for Suno to then build off of. You can do that. You can upload your song here. Or, okay, and let's touch on one more point, and that is using your own voice to generate off of. That being said, you can also upload your own music to take that and extend from it. With Suno, the starting of a song, maybe you've got a song already you've created, you want to remix it, you can do that. You can upload your own audio and remix it. You can also record your own voice, or what I've actually done here is I've uploaded a sample of myself just kind of singing random lyrics here. Let's give you a listen. Riders under the door, riders under the door. I won't subject you to too much of that, but I wanted you to hear the sort of bass sound of me singing, quote unquote. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to upload that audio sample, and we're going to choose the extend option. We're going to go all the way to the end of our uploaded sample. I've uploaded 58 seconds here to help to train Suno on what my voice sounds like. Now, what I found is that in recent models of Suno 5, 4.5, all the way down to like 4, maybe 3.5 and 3 on the other hand, for whatever reason, seem to be able to use your voice better. Now, this may vary if you're actually a really good singer. Maybe some of these higher quality models will actually be able to capture your voice and use your voice in a way that sounds good. What I find is that, because I'm not a very good singer, these higher quality models, they want to make a good sounding song, and they're like there's no way we can possibly use your voice for what we're about to generate. It's going to be way better than what you sound like. So these higher quality models have a hard time, I think, generating with my voice. That being said, what I found is that I can use something like version 3.5, and I can actually get something that sounds kind of like my voice. So what I've done here is, and it doesn't work every time. You know, I'm gonna have to generate a few times. And what I've actually done is I've bookmarked a couple here that do indeed kind of sound like my voice. Like I said, let's give you a little intro to the audio again so you can compare for yourself. 1, 2, 3, this is a vocal sample for me, for me. All right, once again, sorry about that. But now here are the sounds that we've got from that.
White sand blowing where the sea meets the sky, a whisper of salt and a gull's lonely cry. Barefoot trails vanish into...
Okay, and again a little compare. Eve also. Again, sorry for that. Okay, let's listen to another one.
White sand blowing in the wind so free, a whisper of the ocean calling me.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I can definitely hear my voice in there. The vocal quality is kind of not amazing because that's probably like what the sample I recorded is not amazing. I'm not in like a professional studio with, you know, perfect microphone or anything. Let's go for one more here.
White sand blowing in the wind so free, a whisper of the ocean calling me.
And once again, here's the comparison. The door, riders under the door. So we're in the, you know, ballpark. And this was generated using version 4. 3.5 I think can give good results, and 3 I think can also give good results if you're trying to use your own voice. If you have a very good singing voice, you might be able to make some of these higher quality models work for you. If you don't sing very good, like me, it does seem like for whatever mysterious reason, these lower quality models still really give it a good try. They're like, you know what? We don't care what you sound like. We're gonna take what you got and we're gonna make a song out of it no matter what. So version 3, 3.5, 4. Play around, toggle around, generate a whole bunch, and eventually you'll get to something that you know probably sounds pretty cool. I have actually managed to accomplish some pretty good results using, I think it was 3.5, which I was actually pretty happy with. I was like, hey, shit, that's, you know, that actually sounds like me, and I actually sound like I'm singing good. You know, but you have to generate a whole bunch until you get something that actually combines your input sample with something that also sounds like a better singer than you, if you're not a good singer. Maybe you are. And in which case, let me know if some of these higher models work for you. Maybe it's just because I'm not a good enough singer to get these to work for me. But the basic methodology is to upload your vocal sample, make it nice and as clean and crisp of a sample as you can. Choose the extend mode, go from the end, and then just also, it would also be kind of helpful if you upload or if you choose a genre that you're able to vocally range within. So for example, psychedelic rock in this case, because I was kind of channeling a little of Jim Morrison there, I couldn't use the actual lyrics to Riders on the Storm because of copyright, which was detected. So I just made up some lyrics that were kind of in that approximation of vocal cadence, so psychedelic rock in this case. If if I plugged in, you know, K-pop, it probably never would have been able to match my voice to a K-pop song, but you know, it was able to kind of match my voice to a psychedelic rock song. And last but not least, one more sample using 3.5 that I recorded a while ago. I thought it gave pretty good results and actually had quite a few good results with 3.5. Sorry to subject you to the vocal sample, which is going to be the first bit. I'll kind of skip through it, but you can get an idea, just like a little comparison. 3.5 might be the way to go. 3.5 or 4. Play around, test them out. Hope you've enjoyed today's lesson, and all I'm going to do is play the song a little bit on the way out. Okay, here we go. Is this actually understanding the way my voice sounds? And then is it making that into another song? That's what I'm wondering about. Oh, this is a country song. Why do
I place each day. With all the obstacles in our way. Ooh. We've got to take some time to play. Ooh, what I need is dance. 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 What I need is dance. The night away. What I know.
All right, see you guys later. Hope you've enjoyed. Bye for now.